am Savvy Mike, and this is I Am Savvy Mike TV, where we touch on the not so touchable topics. That's what we do over here, clearly, because right now we're reacting and watching a video of DJ Academics and DJ Vlad. They had a pretty good 3-hour interview. And in this 3-hour interview, Ack decided to ask Vlad how he felt about Kanye West and the interview they did. So I haven't heard this part of the interview. It was like 3 hours. I think I got to like 2 hours of it. And this part has yet to come up. So let's listen.
Told me he did, I wouldn't be surprised. That outfit, I would sit there with it, and I would start to push back. I'd be like, you know that chain that you're wearing, the swastika chain. I lost about 9 family members by that group that you're representing right now. Like my grandfather's, all his 9 siblings were killed by Nazis. I have a smaller family right now because of what you're representing.
You know what's crazy about this? And I agree with Vlad here. I totally agree. I do agree. I totally agree with what Vlad is saying, right? I totally fucking agree. Wait, let me see. Make sure Mike right? Mike should be right. Anyways, I totally fucking agree with what Vlad is saying here. I did a video on Professor Sky buying Kanye West merch that had a Confederate flag on it. And if I'm to think about it, you know, I'm sure I lost a lot of ancestors during the time of slavery. And that's what that Confederate flag represents. So when I see it and I go, that's some fucked up shit. And then the internet tells me, Michael, why are you making such a big deal? This isn't a big deal. I ask a lot of questions. I go, So does, like I said, touchy topics these things are. But are we more okay with seeing that flag being paraded around and less okay with seeing the swastika and Kanye in a Black Klansman outfit? Is that okay? Or is that where we draw? When do we draw the line? That's my real question. Like, when does the line get drawn? Because the line should be drawn once the symbols and the wardrobe, all that, once that gets, that's when we draw the line. But it seems like nowadays we just push that line a bit further and we just move the goalposts to fit our liking, unfortunately. I mean, I agree with Vlad here. I think he would agree with what I just said.
You know, you think those people like black people? When you see a Nazi out, a dude with a Nazi tattoo, you think he loves black people? You think he only hates Jews and loves black people? Like, do you know what Hitler did? He sterilized every mixed person in Germany, was sterilized so they don't reproduce, because they're not trying to taint the superior race that Hitler was trying to create. They weren't necessarily always killing black people, but if you were German and black, you wouldn't be allowed to have babies.
So
your kids, Kanye, your kids, if they were living in Germany at the time, would be robbed of their ability to reproduce. Male and female. Northwest will never have children because of what that symbol symbolizes. You know what I'm saying? Answer that.
What he tried to say in response to that, he said, well, listen, and I don't know if this is the sole reason. I think it's much more multifaceted, because it's not. So he said, they make money off our pain, but they hate when we try to exploit their pain. And he uses this us versus them type of ideology. But what do you say to that? Where he's like, hey, listen, when it comes to, I guess he's speaking about black people. He's like,
so every Jewish person makes money off of black pain? Really? Every Jewish person?
I don't know.
Because he's saying the Jews, meaning all the Jews. He even said in interviews, like, oh, do you remember he was on that one dude, that Proud Boys podcast? And he was like, remember this was, I don't know, maybe like a year and a half ago or something. He did an interview with one of the dudes from the Proud Boys. And the guy's like, hey, so when you say the Jews, are you talking about specific Jews or all Jews? Kanye said all Jews. All Jews. So you're telling me that all Jews make money off of black pain? My mother, my father, all my cousins, everyone in Israel, you know, all the Jews living in New York and LA and everything else like that, all the Jews in South Africa and fucking Brazil and all, like, we're all making money off. This is what we do. This is our profession.
Well,
Like, this is what we're trained. Like, we go to colleges to make money off black people, black people's pain. Like, really? Or are certain people in the record business, you know, in certain positions, and they happen to have certain artists that are gangster rappers, and, you know, they monetize off, you know, and these artists create this music, and they, you know, are the record label leads, and they help these artists to push their albums, along with all types of other artists.
Just to, in his train of thought, how he was explaining it, he would be like, well, how could one be ignored? And as soon as I wear these symbols that exploiting pain of other people, now this is a bigger issue. Why are we causing a problem here when I do it, as opposed to when pain of black people are?
So that means that there shouldn't be an uproar if I wear a necklace of a black man hanging from a tree. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, you're exploiting a symbol of violence, not just hate or disdain, actual lethal violence. If any person, black, white, or whatever, but especially non-black person, somehow wears a symbol, an iced out symbol of slavery, but it would not go well on any level for that person.
But he's equating that to, say, these executives that happen to be, say, Jewish, if they're monetizing off, say, black on black violence, gangsterism, the denigration of black culture. He's like, well, yeah, that might not be lynching and really extreme levels of black turmoil, but it's still black turmoil that they're benefiting off of. So why can't I benefit off, or I don't know if he thinks he's benefiting, but why can't I exploit your pain? That's his argument. I'm not saying that.
So if Kanye dropped, if he wanted to support an artist who was Jewish, who talked about killing other Jewish people, like, you know, banging on other Jewish people, whatever else, I don't think anyone would really have a problem with that. I wouldn't give a shit, right? That's what he's talking about. In fact, a lot of these, when you look at sort of the biggest gangster rap labels, there's usually a black person at the head of them. Suge Knight, you know, QC, Coach K and P, gangster rappers all on that label, right?
And again, I feel like I'm playing devil's advocate.
And the parent label, that's just one of their properties out of dozens of artists, including a Taylor Swift and including all these other people and again, Ed Sheeran and whatever else. Like,
I'm playing devil's advocate for the conversation here, but I think even when we even got to the Kendrick stuff, he's like, he has this idea of like agents, or sometimes he says slaves, and he's like, hey, listen, Cardi is an agent. Because, yeah, Cardi might represent this, but then he's being handled by this guy, Lucian. Or that's the thing, Kendrick might think, hey, I'm getting at Drake and blah, 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 but you're basically being puppeteered by the people who own UMG, and those people aren't you. This idea of not like us, the person who's really not like us is the person who owns your catalog and that you're really signed to. And that's how he's thinking.
You really think that someone other than Kendrick put together the song Not Like Us?
No, not the song. But
the whole beef, do you think that one of the presidents or vice presidents at UMG was like, yo, Kendrick, you know, you should do this and beef with Drake, you know, you should, you know, when you do this Future album, you know, Future and Metro Boomin album, you should diss Drake, because that's
not on an idea wise, but
Kendrick is Kendrick. Like, Kendrick is really so unique in terms of his approach to music that I don't think anyone's
no, of course, but
I don't think anyone's in his ear over this.
And I do agree or believe this. Do I believe that the top level record executive says, hey, listen, we have two of our UMG artists that are going to start attacking each other. And no matter who wins, we're going to get the majority of the profits. So we're going to put resources behind this to fuel. We're going to use bots. We're going to push this to radio. We're going to make this big because we really don't have to do much because people like seeing a fight. We're just going to profit off of their destruction of each other. Oh, yeah, I definitely think that. Now, is it on a race level? No, I think that's on a business level. Like,
are they making the majority of the profits, or are the artists making the majority of the profits?
Oh no, definitely the record labels.
You think?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you mean to tell me? Okay, so you mean to tell me?
If Drake gets his $400 million, that's was his first contract. His last contract.
Yeah.
$400 million. You think UMG's not at least projected to get at least $2 billion from the proceeds within that 3 or 4 years? You don't.
I don't think it's that much.
Vlad,
I don't think the margins are that big. I don't think
Vlad,
the margin
it has to be at least
2.5 times. I don't think so. I don't think the margin.
Vlad, you wouldn't do an interview if you gave somebody $50,000 to do an interview. You wouldn't do it just to get $60,000, would you? You would give that person $50,000 if you're going to make at least $100.
It depends who it is. Depends who it is. Like certain people. Okay, it's like this, right? Think about it like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's just numbers at the end of the day, right? So if I pay someone $1,000 and I make $5,000 off of it, that sounds like a good deal, right? I invested $1,000 and I made $5,000 off the interview. If I give Boosie $50,000 and I make $10,000 off of it, the margin is way smaller, but it's still more money than the $5,000 doing the same exact job with regard of the two people. See what I'm saying? So the margins are smaller, but the overall profit, the raw profit is higher. So when it comes to someone like a Drake, they could take, like, for example, I think the perfect example of this is Cash Money. Cash Money has a deal with Republic, at least originally they did, where like Republic only takes like 15%.
Yeah, it's actually 90-10, yeah.
10%, even better. 90-10 deal, they get to keep their masters, right? And they had a huge advance on top of it. There's a reason why Republic, which I think was under Universal at the time also, was only taking 10% because they're like, we're going to make so much money. This 10% is going to turn into millions and millions. But okay, y'all keep the 90 because we know that this is the only way we're going to be able to make this deal. You think Drake is really going to say, I'm going to take $400 million knowing y'all going to make 2.5 times what I make? No. He is so big at the point that he could bring those margins closer to him knowing so much cash will be generated.
Okay. So
no way he's getting $400 million and they make $2 billion. 5 times?
No. Over the
or 1.2. No. It's not like that. They'll give him $400 million and maybe make 500 or $600 million.
No, not even close. All right, so let me give you my reason.
And you got to think that money gets recouped.
All right?
That's alone.
Way more interesting conversation than the Kanye one. I kind of wanted to hear where that was going, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. They got into a way more interesting conversation than the Kanye one that they were having. I mean, the Kanye one they were having was definitely an interesting conversation. Vlad made some great points. DJ Academics made some great points as well. But in the end, you know, when you truly think about it, about the whole are Jews profiting off of Black pain, I mean, when you do look at who's running the music business, they are of Jewish descent. So Kanye having that, I guess, opinion is based in some type of facts for sure. But also at the same time, I don't think wearing a black KKK outfit is the way to go about it, you know, is the way to go about expressing that opinion. Because that is a good opinion to have, and it's not a wrong one. But why wear a KKK outfit? Why wear a swastika chain? Like, who iced that out? Who made that chain? Like, somebody really went, yeah, you know, about to make a Nazi symbol chain. This is going to be a doozy. I wonder how much they made Kanye pay for that shit. Cause I made Kanye come out to ask for it. Be like, man, if I gotta make this bullshit, my nigga, you better give me like a good $3 million. Fuck this. Yeah. Fucking Nazi chain. You kidding me? And yeah, Kanye's a fucking idiot. He's a dumbass. And at the end of the day, hey, he's still one of the greatest, if not the greatest, hip-hop producers of all time. So most geniuses are fucking crazy. And we just got to deal with the crazy, unfortunately. And we're just hoping the crazy comes with crazy good music, but it's not even coming with crazy good. It's coming with mid music. Unfortunately, the beats are still amazing, but you know, Kanye he doesn't have the same writers he used to have. Like all them niggas said, fuck him. Like, you're not about to bully me in the studio and I'm giving you the hits. Like, I'm over here making some great ass records for you. You're not about to do that, Kanye. But also with the conversation as far as like, you know, I think they got into that whole how much the labels are truly making conversation because, you know, they were talking about labels profiting off Black Pain. And Vlad basically said the artists are making way more than the labels are. That's cap. That is most definitely cap. And Vlad knows that's cap. I don't know why he's trying to defend that point. Like, he was really about to really go in and defend that point. It's just, come on. If the label gives Drake $400 million, not because they think they're gonna make 6. No, they give him that because they know they're gonna make 8 if he stays consistent. And whatever comes after that is just plus. And he's gonna plus it as long as he stays good and consistent and we keep making the great music. That's why they give him 4. But to think that a record label like UMG, Universal Music Group, with other subsidiary record labels that are under it, isn't sitting on billions of dollars is crazy. That is a crazy thought to have. That's a white thought. DJ Vlad just let his whiteness show there. That's crazy, you know. Y'all was killing academics for having a DJ. The DJ, we never seen D. You know, it's pictures of him DJ at Rutgers parties when he was in college. This nigga Vlad got DJ. Where has Vlad ever DJ'd anything? Come on now. Anyways, let me know what y'all think about the whole situation and conversation in the comments below. I am Savvy Mike, and this is I Am Savvy Mike TV. Peace.